girl, Miss Tetra Resin Stone. And today's video, you guys, listen, it's a little bit different. She's on camera again. Hi, how are ya? So, I'm bringing you guys some liqueur movements because listen, this is a lot to get into. Now, it's not like, but it's still kind of like, oh shit. Okay, so we're talking about Sandeep Kaur. Now, Sandeep Kaur is a Indian American who came to the United States when she was just 7 years old. Now, when she comes to America, her dad was already here and her mom was back in India, and they said, come on over, bring the kids, let's have a good time. So they come over and have a better life and to just enjoy and live the American dream. But they were actually a part of the Sikh religion, which the Sikh religion forces I don't want to say forces, they stress to their followers away from the selfish pursuit of wealth. Now, because of this, things like fashion, things like toys, that's really not a part of their like upbringing, right? Like they have normal toys, but as far as like laptops, iPads, computers, it ain't happening. She recalls a story where her little brother goes to school wearing Pocahontas sandals because those were the ones that happened to be cheaper. So the kids basically grew up bullied, ridiculed, and this really set I think resentment for her faith, but also resentment for her society that she came from. There was a resentment there that I'm being made fun of for, you know, not conforming to the American and the Western way, right? So keep that in mind. She's like, I need to get out of school as fast as possible. And she does. She graduates high school at 15. That's a drink, baby. That's a drink. Yes, ma'am. Graduates high school early. After graduating high school, she goes on to college and becomes a licensed vocational nurse. Now, as a nurse, she's stacking up those coins, mama. She's got $6,000 a month. And she's living at home, not paying rent, not paying any kind of bills. It's also at this time that Sandeep really starts to live her best fantasy life. She starts getting the freedom. She starts realizing that she's got money. She's in the most beautiful state in the country. Shout out California. She's living her best life. And she's like, you know what? I'm gonna go shopping. I'm gonna go do all these things. And her mom was like, no, ma'am, no, you're not. So what she started to do was work double shifts, triple shifts, and just trying to save as much money as she could to get out of her strict, domineering family system. Now, she has a cousin, and basically her cousin was like, listen, honey, we need you to come out, celebrate. You're turning 21. Let's go celebrate. Let's have a good time. Now, her older cousin, I think, is 25 years old at this time. And so she's the older cousin, but she still like acts like the younger cousin because Sandeep is very like responsible, right? I mean, she's already graduated high school early. She's already a licensed vocational nurse. She's already making that paper. She's very responsible. Go to Vegas, okay, which shout out 21 in Vegas. Like, okay, girl, let's see what you about to do. Ultimately, she goes to Vegas. And whilst she's in Vegas, she starts to gamble. And she was like, oh my God, this is kind of fun. Like, am I really winning money? She starts winning, she starts winning, she starts winning. And pretty soon, she keeps coming back. So she go to Vegas, she come. This is like a monthly thing. She's going to Vegas, zipping it, doing it all the way over in Vegas, earning all these coins. Now, one thing that I want to say, because we really haven't gotten into her robbing any banks, but the stage has been set. Now, bank robbers are becoming an extinct species because the rise of electronic payments is creating a cashless society since 2003. Bank robberies have fallen 47%. The crime is also overwhelmingly male activity. According to the latest FBI figures, just 8% of America's 4,347 bank robberies last year were committed by a woman. Traditionally, women have been involved in bank robberies only as getaway drivers or accomplices to male robbers, says Dr. Richard Schmidt, a U.S. criminal psychologist. Now, Dr. Schmidt did get to look at and visit and meet this Bombshell Bandit, and we're going to get to the Bombshell Bandit moment, but he got to hang out with her, and what he goes on to say is it is extremely rare that a robber is an educated, professional female and a Sikh. is highly unusual case. In the history of the United States, you will not find another bank robber with this profile. Kaur basically starts gambling, right? Gambling and gambling and gambling and gambling and gambling and gambling and gambling. Okay, so what she does in 2008, the housing market bursts. She purchased tons of stock. She purchased stock from Bank of America. She purchased stock from AIG. She gets all these stocks. Well, she gambled and she won. She made over $200,000. She finds this game called Baccarat, which Baccarat is not really a game of skill. It's literally the lottery. It's this card equals 9. You don't know what the card's gonna be. There's like 8 different decks that they use. You can't win it. It's literally, it's not a game of skill, it's a game of chance. And ironically, this is the game that she fell in love with, which, okay, whatever. So ultimately she starts gambling and she gets a line of credit with the casino. So she's working with the Bellagio, right? So she's getting like VIP treatments, honey. She's at the high roller tables. And this is all because every month, as I was telling you, she started coming back to Vegas and she started spending like all of her money. Now at 21 years old, she was making $6,000 a month being a licensed vocational nurse. And she lived at home and she had $200,000 in the bank from when she won the stock market, right? So she's got coin. Okay, so then this is what happens. She gets a line of credit. It's $20,000. The Bellagio says, here, honey, just charge it $20,000. We know you're good for it. So ultimately what happens, she starts losing and she starts losing and she starts losing and she starts losing and she starts losing. She blows through her entire life savings, you guys. And this is a matter of 2 years, by the way. But she blows through her life savings. She spends all of her money. She's dead broke, honey. Now, this is where the story kind of gets a little weird. Allegedly, supposedly, a man comes up to her and sees her and says, hey, I've noticed you. I've seen you playing for a little defeated. What's going on? And she tells him, you know, I need $20,000. I'm like out of things. Like it sucks. Like my life is horrible, right? So this man, who she describes as having braids and mixed with Puerto Rican and black. Then she says there's another man who she thought was maybe Mexican. So these two guys in their Latino fantasy moments give her $20,000 in the parking lot of the Bellagio. So she gets the coins and she goes back and starts gambling. Well, ultimately she loses all. Okay, fuck, I am done. My credit limit's out. I lost all my money. I gotta go. So she flees back home to California. Whilst she's in California, she was like, I'm gonna just put all this behind me and pretend like none of this happened. She visits some friends. Now, while she's visiting some friends, she started to notice this black SUV following her. And she's like, did my dad put out a private investigator? Now remember, her parents are very strong religious Sikh members in the community, and they're very, very controlling, even to their adult children.
It's also important to point out that at this point her mom wanted to arrange her marriage, and basically she didn't want to deal with it because her parents were divorced, but they were pretending to still be married and they were going back to India having family events, but you know they're still together. It was all facade. Basically, in the Sikh community, it's all about your appearance, it's all about honor, it's all about that. Okay.
So she thought her dad maybe was trying to keep tabs on her. So what she does is she goes and elopes. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go elope. I gotta go do this because I don't want to get married off. So she goes, elopes, gets married off. Everything's cool, everything's great. Well, the black SUV is coming back, you guys. She goes to the gas station. She comes out and there are two men, one African American and one Hispanic, sitting in the car.
And she's like, oh my God, you guys, you're in the wrong car. Like, this is kind of funny, but you're in my car.
Bitch, no. This is where I think I start smelling some fishiness, because this doesn't seem like something that a person would really do. I would call 911. Someone's trying to rob my car or steal my car, carjack me, okay? Ultimately what happens, they tell her,
listen, we know you owe us $20,000, but now you owe us $30,000.
And so they increase the debt on her. So she's like, fuck, they found me. Then they threaten her. They say either you give us the money
or you work for us.
You do with that what you want, your imagination. So she's like, okay, fuck. So she goes back and she tries to start finding ways to make this money. She makes some phone calls. She's like going crazy, whatever. They try to give her a gun, allegedly, and says, you know, go rob a house, go rob a bank. We don't care. Just give us our money. Just gambling again. You would think she would stop gambling. Well, she gets like $5,000 together somehow or another, and she goes to Sister Hotel. I can't think of the name of it right now, but the Sister Hotel to the Bellagio. A security guard recognizes her because she owes money from that $20,000 credit line that she has at the Bellagio. They book and arrest her ass. So
she's like, oh shit, oh my God.
Now, I kind of skipped a part. Let's rewind that real quick. Ultimately, what happens is she goes and robs a bank, you guys. She robs her first bank because she's like, it's either my life or I gotta go ahead and take care of it. So she goes, robs her first bank, and she gets like 21,000, I think it's 21,000. And she goes to pay her little payments. And she pays a little payment and she scrapes at $5,000. And with the $5,000, she was like, well, I paid you guys your payment, the loan sharks, I paid you a payment. So I might as well just go try to turn this into like 20,000 and then maybe I can be done forever. And she basically goes and starts playing these games. So she finds the baccarat table, of course. And this dumbass, I'm sorry, girl, you're dumb, honey. I'm looking at her picture right now. You're dumb, baby. So she goes and she's playing this baccarat table again. She feels a hand on her shoulder.
Oh my God, hello?
And it's the fucking security. They arrest her ass, they book her,
Fuck 'em, boy.
take her away. So ultimately, I don't know how or who or where the bond gets paid, but she gets out on bail and she was like, I thought that they were gonna catch me for the bank robbery, but they didn't. So now I have to pay for my bail, I have to pay the Bellagio, and I have to pay these loan sharks. So what am I gonna do? Of course, I got away with robbing the bank the first time. So she goes and robs the bank again. So she robs another bank, same situation. She goes in and she gives them another letter. And
I have a bomb. Listen, I'm sorry. These guys are making me do it. I don't want to do it. Give me $100,000.
so instead of the $100,000, she gets $2,000. And she's like, fuck. And then she goes to meet them in Santa Monica. So she goes to meet these guys in Santa Monica. She drives all the way out there. She goes to make a payment. Your interest. We got some high interest, honey. You need to pay up, baby, because yes, you might have paid me back, but you still owe us some money. So she's like, fuck, I gotta keep going. So she goes to Utah, she robs the shit out of this bank, drives at 130 miles per hour, okay? 130 miles per hour, up and down, zipping and doing it up and down the highway. Well, ultimately, they deploy the spike strips, very dramatic, right? She's like, goes around it. So they ultimately deploy another layer of spike strips, and this time it actually does stop the spree. They book her. She says, please kill me. I don't want to live anymore. I don't believe it, but here we go. Special Agent Seth Footlick at the FBI interviewed Sandeep Kaur on August 14, and Kaur was neither remorseful nor honest in her interview. Because Kaur readily admits to living a life, quote, full of lies, her story is hard to verify. However, I discovered that both her Arizona and Utah robberies coincided with the court demands of restitution of her gambling debts. So now they don't even think that she really, like, she wasn't even, like, there was no loan sharks, allegedly. That's what they're kind of getting at. Now, the Punjabi newspaper is read on the steps of the Sikh temple in the Union City, California, before service. As her trial approached, it speculated that she faced up to 20 years in federal prison for each of the 4 charges against her and fines of $250,000. Now, when Kaur's mother read it, apparently she collapsed and she was just like so dead because of the drama and the scandal, right? It's exposed. Her mom isn't there. Her dad doesn't come visit her. Her brother sends a letter, and I think her cousin sends a letter to be read at her trial. In an unusual move, the judge seals the courtroom and orders the press to leave. It is reported that, quote, sensitive evidence was heard relating to her treatment at the hands of the loan sharks. If the FBI agent in charge of her case did not believe her, it appeared that the judge did. So now the FBI doesn't believe there was loan sharks, but the judge does. This changes everything. Basically, even though, yes, she had a large gambling debt, in order to repay to her loan shark, she robbed the bank. So he basically says, because this explains why she did it, but it doesn't justify what she did. The prosecutors come in and say, listen, she was driving 130 miles per hour. She was endangering everybody, those bank tellers. Like, she fuck the loan sharks, fuck her safety. She put everyone else in danger. We want the max, honey. We want to take her down. Sentences Sandeep Kaur, aka the Bombshell Bandit, to 66 months in jail and orders her to pay back every dollar of money she stole. Kaur wipes tears from her eyes and thanks the judge and says the arrest was a relief. And the prison interview goes on and on and on. So I'm going to kind of wrap it up there because, y'all, this has been a long ass video. What has me most gooped, gagged, and like put together with everything was the fact that the judge believed her. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of feel for her because I look at the situation that she grew up in, right? I look at growing up in a strict family system. By the way, there was abuse. I kind of skimmed over it. So I probably should kind of put that in there. Basically, her parents would like make her hold chairs until like she couldn't hold them anymore. And then when she would drop them, they'd hit them with sticks, you know? So it was kind of crazy, and they were really, you know, kind of abusive. She had to be a good Sikh girl. And her mom, when she found out all the allegations, when she found out she was going to jail, when she found out everything, I do want to point out that when she found out she was gambling, because what happened, ultimately the mom was like really nosy, and she like opened her mail, and the mail was like a credit, like a debt collector saying you owe the Bellagio, you know, several thousands of dollars because of your extended balance. And the mom was more upset that she was a girl. She said, you're a woman. Think about what they will think. Talk about the community. So it's really sad. It doesn't excuse what she did. At the end of the day, the reckless driving, like let alone the stress, the emotional turmoil, like I think the biggest fear for a bank teller is being robbed, right? And so she literally created that to not just one bank, but several banks. And so for her to, I'm kind of glad. I think 66 months was fair. When she was, essentially, it was going to be like 120 years. So she definitely got a very lenient sentence, all things considering. And, you know, she's a young woman, 24 years old, and a nurse. And now she'll never work as a nurse again. She got a felony on that first arrest when the guy pulled her off and took her out of the casino. Felony the house down boots. So she was like, fuck, I got a felony now, so my life is over. But anyways, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think about this. Have you heard about this story? And again, I will be leaving this whole entire article in the description because, girl, this shit was long as fuck. I gave you the condensed version and I gave you the cliff notes, but I really urge you guys to read it because I'm sure I'm missing huge chunks. There's other things that kind of give you context, but go check it out. Link in description. Shout out to you, baby BBC. We love you, honey. We love you. And if you got them, drink them. But I will see you guys in my next video. Until next time. Bye-bye.